The term violent crime is even used when people are stealing packages. Violent crime is even used when people are accused of burglary and there happens to be a housing unit in that same dwelling. So violence is an artificial construction. We have to make clear that when the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's been laced by the IDF.
What's going on, patriots? Welcome back to the channel, where we tell it like it is, no sugarcoating, no mainstream media spin. Now, I just finished watching the segment about New York City's incoming mayor, Zohra Mamdani, and folks, I've got to say it straight. This is one of the most dangerous shifts in leadership I've ever seen in American city politics. We're talking about a self-described socialist with a long record of anti-police rhetoric and, believe it or not, open support for radical movements. And this person is now set to run the largest city in America. Let that sink in.
Socialist Zohra Mamdani, the incoming New York City mayor, a long history of anti-police rhetoric and support for radical Islam. Many in New York now fearing the city will become a safe haven for criminals and jihadists. In our Thin Blue Line segment this week, the potential impact on the nation's largest police force in the wake of Tuesday's election. And here to discuss, no better person to have this conversation with than retired NYPD Chief of Department John Shell. Chief, good to see you. I know it's probably been a pretty emotional week for you, and with what has happened. The NYPD already having a staffing crisis. Outgoing Mayor Eric Adams wants to swell the number of uniformed officers on his way out. Mamdani does not support that. Do you think we will see retirements and resignations in the coming months, and about how many?
Well, so right now, there's about 4,000 cops that could leave. When I say cops, every rank that can leave in January. Now, will there be a mass exodus? It remains to be seen, but I've been very vocal on the points that, you know, who he associates with is the DSA, what his rhetoric has been well documented, although he apologized. Okay, fine. But the policies he's looking to put in place, by his own words, are very disturbing. And when you really listen to his rhetoric, he wants to maintain staffing. What he's saying there is he's not going to hire, in my opinion, he's not going to hire more cops. He's just going to divert some of their jobs to this community action team to do police work. It's not going to work, and people are going to leave. We'll see the numbers in January.
If you have 4,000 that are eligible for retirement, you have other people that have the ability to get recruited away and resign, and you can't recruit because of Mamdani, how will that compromise public safety in the nation's largest city?
Well, it's going to, and as you see, if you look on social media the last couple of days, other agencies, Houston, Florida, they're trying to recruit our cops to a better place to work, and it will affect recruiting. If the Civilian Complaint Review Board will get the power to adjudicate complaints against cops, that'll be the deal breaker. And just for the audience, the police commissioner now has the last say. He wants to bring it over to that agency. That will be catastrophic for this department. No one's going to come on, and people will leave. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah. Mamdani has also proposed, you alluded to it earlier, spending $1 billion to create a Department of Community Safety, giving civilians and social workers some of the responsibilities currently held by the police department. Part of the plan relies on mental health workers responding before the NYPD to certain situations like homeless people on the subways or mentally disturbed folks or maybe even domestic violence. This sounds, Chief, incredibly dangerous to me. Your reaction?
It's very dangerous. And quite frankly, the public does know we already do this with our clinicians, with our Department of Health, Homeless Services, with transit cops. We do this already. But to your point, what you're getting at is they can't go down there alone. People with mental stress, it changes quickly. It's very dangerous. It's never going to happen. And just imagine if it did happen and something happened to a mental health worker. This is not going to happen.
All right, real quick for me. Next year, Chief, is going to be the 25th anniversary of 9/11. And someone who supports, in his own words, Globalizing the Intifada will be the mayor down there at Ground Zero. I know you lost friends on that fateful day. How does it make you feel?
Well, look, I don't like to talk about 9/11 in any other context about just what happened to my friends, the city, family members, and me being down there. That's a sacred day. I don't talk about it in any other platform, and I won't. But I'll be there next year again, just saying a prayer for my friends and loved ones and friends that I lost, and that's where I stand on that.
All right. We're certainly going to be monitoring all of this, Chief, and we appreciate you coming on tonight. Retired
Pleasure, thanks.
NYPD Chief of Department John Shell. Pray for our cops, folks.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.
Section 1, Anti-Police Agenda. So the clip starts with something truly jaw-dropping. Mamdani and his allies are actually trying to redefine what violent crime means. They're calling burglary and theft non-violent. You see where this is going, right? If you redefine crime, you can pretend it's not happening. It's classic leftist doublespeak. Play with the words, twist the definitions, and suddenly the chaos in your city doesn't exist on paper. But tell that to the families getting robbed, the small business owners getting their stores looted, or the commuters getting harassed in the subway. When the boot of the NYPD is on your neck, it's laced by the IDF. That's the rhetoric coming from this mayor. That's not leadership. That's hate speech against the men and women who keep this city from falling apart. Now let's talk about what retired NYPD Chief John Shell said. There are 4,000 officers eligible to retire in January. 4,000. You think it's bad now? Wait until thousands of experienced cops hang up their badges because they're tired of being disrespected by politicians who think criminals deserve more sympathy than the victims. And it's not just retirement. Houston, Florida, other cities are already recruiting NYPD officers. Why? Because they value law and order. They offer respect, decent leadership, and the freedom to do the job without being demonized every day. You can't blame officers for leaving. Would you stay in a city where your mayor thinks you're the enemy? Now here's where it gets even worse. Mamdani wants to spend $1 billion creating a so-called Department of Community Safety. That means civilians and social workers will be taking over police duties. They'll respond to mental health crises, subway situations, and even domestic violence calls before the police do. You heard that right. Unarmed social workers will be sent into potentially violent situations before trained officers. This isn't compassion. This is lunacy. Chief Shell even said it. NYPD already works with mental health professionals, clinicians, and outreach teams. This new department isn't innovation. It's ideology. It's about weakening the police and handing control to political activists. This isn't about reform. It's about control. When you strip a city of law enforcement, you don't get peace, you get fear. And fear makes people easier to control. This is the same pattern we've seen in every Democrat-run city. From Chicago to San Francisco. Defund the police, release criminals, destroy accountability, and then pretend it's all about equity and social justice. Meanwhile, working-class Americans, the very people who build these cities, are the ones paying the price. And let's not forget what the chief said at the end. Next year marks the 25th anniversary of 9/11. Think about that. Thousands of innocent lives lost. First responders sacrificed everything. And this new mayor, a man who's talked about globalizing Intifada, will be standing at Ground Zero representing New York City. That is beyond offensive. It's an insult to every police officer, firefighter, and American who lived through that day. Chief Shell handled it with class. He said he'll be there to pray for his fallen friends. That's the kind of dignity we expect from real Americans. But it's disgraceful that the city's leadership won't reflect that same love for our country. This is what happens when radicals take power. They demonize police, glorify criminals, and turn patriotic Americans into villains. It's not just New York. It's the blueprint for what the left wants nationwide. They don't want strong police forces. They don't want safe cities. They want dependency, chaos, and fear, because that's how you keep people begging for government protection. So what do? We speak up. We back the blue. We expose these dangerous ideologues before they destroy our cities from the inside out. If you live in New York, get involved. Support your officers. Vote with your eyes open. And to the men and women in uniform watching this, we stand with you. You are the thin blue line holding this country together. Don't let these radicals break your spirit. Folks, this isn't just about New York City. It's about the future of America, whether we stay a nation of law and order or fall into the chaos of socialist equity experiments. Because when criminals get compassion and cops get condemnation, society collapses. If you love this country, if you back the badge, and if you believe in freedom, hit that like button, share this video, and make your voice heard. Stay strong, stay free, and as always, God bless America.